Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the official He-Man and the Masters of the Universe YouTube channel. My name is James Etok, and today I welcome you to this, the very first Top 10 video. In these videos I explore a certain category, in this case the silliest episodes, and showcase my personal top 10. This was actually a hard list to compose because there's a thin line between an episode being silly and an episode just being downright awful. And so with that said, here are the top 10 silliest episodes from He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Number 10. The Region of Ice. As I said, just because an episode appears on this list does not make it a bad one. Far from it in the case of the Region of Ice. This episode, one of the best and most entertaining episodes of the series, is on this list because the second act is filled with comedic dialogue.
Hello, Beast Man making soup.
Comedy action scenes, with appropriate comedy dialogue that follows soon after.
There, now you won't lose it again.
And slapstick action scenes that will have you giggling to yourself. How can you not laugh at an episode that has Beastman run up to Skeletor with a cauldron on his head, with Skeletor asking,
Beastman, is this supposed to be funny?
Pure fried gold. Plus we could watch Skeletor and Beastman dancing on ice forever, but no, we don't have time to enjoy that. Number 9. Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast, one of the episodes that appears towards the series' end, and it shows, is silly because the episode premise is based around a fairy tale. Not that that's a bad thing, it's just that we have Prince Morrigal, a man cursed by Skeletor to look like a monster, complaining throughout the episode that he is powerless, and then, even when the heroes come to save the day, he continues to play the I'm powerless card.
My people run in fear when they see my face.
That is until, because he has the hots for Teela, she convinces him to turn his back on Skeletor, which ends up in him being tripped up by Whiplash. That worked out really well for you, didn't it? While all of this fairy tale drama is going on, He-Man is fighting through a weird game show in which he must overcome giant insects and a robot that looks like it just escaped from the 1970s. And that's not all. Teela kisses Prince Morrigal, and in true fairy tale fashion, the monster is no more. Oh, ugh. This episode is even bookended by a storyteller telling the story of Beauty and the Beast. Also, the storyteller travels all the way from the Royal Palace to the Kingdom of Morrigal just to converse with Orko. Whatever. Number 8. Daimar the Demon. Daimar the Demon should be a terrifying episode. However, poor visuals throughout and some truly odd story points, Orko deciding to summon a demon because he looks like he would be fun to play with, just leaves us scratching our heads. And then when the demon finally appears in his true form, his previous friendship with Orko, which, let's face it, wasn't a fantastically deep friendship, is enough to cancel his destiny. A destiny which, by the way, involves him unleashing the demons from the Dark Dimension upon Eternia. As the church minister that criticised this specific episode once said, you cannot beat a demon with love, and I'm kind of inclined to agree with him. And after Eternia is nearly decimated by evil, we have a rainbow. Oh. Number 7. The Secret of Grayskull. The Secret of Grayskull is a very entertaining episode. A script featuring 2 big action scenes. However, halfway through the episode, things begin to get a little bit silly. Skeletor, seeing that Orko is feeling sorry for himself, decides to create an elaborate scheme in which he will dress up as a genie and immerse himself in a lamp so that when Orko rubs the lamp, which of course he would do, Skeletor, in his genius disguise, see what I did there, pops out to convince Orko to leave Eternia.
Be honest, wouldn't everyone be much better off if you had never come to Eternia?
A few scenes later, when Orko has been convinced by the Sorceress that he should stay on Eternia, Skeletor captures the little Trollon and through the use of magic convinces him to help he and his evil warriors enter Castle Grayskull. Okay, and now it gets really silly. Apparently, in this episode, the way in which you can easily bypass Castle Grayskull's drawbridge is to answer a riddle.
What goes through this door, yet never enters or ever leaves Castle Grayskull?
What? A riddle? And it continues to get sillier. The Sorceress uses the Power of Grayskull to eject all the villains from the castle, to the point that Skeletor wants to leave the castle, even saying,
Let me out of here, you goody witch, you!
This scene and exchange of dialogue basically informs us that Skeletor will never ever conquer Castle Grayskull, and that he kind of doesn't want to. Meh. Number 6. Orko's Missing Magic. Yeah, Orko pops up a lot in this list. Orko's Missing Magic has our favourite troll and accidentally lose all of his magic, the magic being absorbed by a Gronk, this little guy. So He-Man, Battlecat and Orko journey to Ormiros, where they are greeted by the four-armed TikTok, a three-eyed giant, and an evil wizard named Zolt, who cannot make up his mind as to whether he has 6 arms or 4 arms. Anyway, this episode, whilst full of wonderful vistas and beautiful looking strange backgrounds, is intrinsically silly. Orko's power is absorbed into a Gronk, enough said. Number 5. Here, there, Skeletors everywhere. Even the title sounds silly. Here, there's Skeletors everywhere has Skeletor used Man-at-Arm's duplicating machine to create pint-sized doubles of himself that, in short, that's actually not an intentional pun. As I was saying, the machine creates pint-sized doubles of himself that, in short, conquer Eternia. Of course, they all turn against one another, but it gets sillier still when He-Man creates a couple of pint-sized clones of himself, complete with diminutive, heroic-sounding voices. Ready, boys?
Ready.
Although this episode is silly, it borders on the offensive with the horrific reject Care Bears, one of which has the wonderful catchphrase, "Oh dear." Ugh.
Oh dear.
Number 4. Dree-Elle's Return. Just because there is a lot of trolling activity in Dree-Elle's Return does not make it a silly episode, although the appearance of Yuccas doesn't help.
Hey sis, I wanna come too!
No, what makes this episode silly are the last few minutes in which the heroes learn that in order to stop the effects of the Horn of Evil, they must sing a special song. The silliest part? The terrifyingly awesome artifact, the Horn of Evil, obliges the heroes by producing a song sheet. Yes, it produces a song sheet. And then cue the song. No, we are not listening to that song. No. Good. Good will conquer bad. More like, this song makes me sad. Number 3. Time Doesn't Fly. Time Doesn't Fly is one episode that comes close to being on this list for being one of the worst episodes of the series. However, the story itself is equally just as silly. In this episode, the utterly pointless evil wizard Hexon, a Blue Meanie reject from the Yellow Submarine, has somehow managed to come up with the worst plan in the history of the universe. Now bear with me on this one. Once a year, on the first day of spring, Emperor Cathar must appear before the Council of Seasons in order to request permission to rule the kingdom of Simbar for another year. That we can accept. Now, Hexon wants to rule the kingdom of Simbar, so what does he do? He captures Emperor Cathar, preventing him from appearing before the Council of Seasons on the first day of spring. Again, this makes perfect sense. After all, if Emperor Cathar does not appear before the Council of Seasons before the first day of spring, oh no, the kingdom will fall and Hexon will take over. We all understand this, right? However, as part of this plan, Hexon decides to stop time. Okay? Wait, what? This is the silliest, nay, stupidest part of the episode. Think about it, by stopping time itself, all Hexon is doing is enabling the heroes time to save Emperor Cathar and present him before the Council of Seasons before time restarts. Wouldn't it have made more sense to let time continue, thus ensuring Emperor Cathar would not appear before the Council of Seasons? Wouldn't that... This is why Hexon sucks. And this is why this episode is silly. Number 2. Quest for He-Man. Quest for He-Man features a parachuting Ram Man, whirlpools in space, Ram Man singing, Schminovitz, a pink deer and a blue duck, Gleedle, the Rabots, a portrait of a duck, Earth-based currency, and, of course, Plundor the Spoiler. That, my friends, is all you need to know. Number 1. The Greatest Show on Eternia. The most infamous episode of the series sees Skeletor, the Lord of Destruction, seek vengeance upon the circus because they turned down his request to perform. Yes, there's nothing that Skeletor likes more than watching clowns and elephants perform. Well, the circus soon regret their decision not to perform at Snake Mountain because Skeletor arrives at the circus in his completely inconspicuous circus tent with a giant skull on it. After Skeletor makes Crackers the Clown disappear, something we all thank him for, he tells everyone that the circus has been cancelled. Boo or yay? And with it cancelled, he commands that the performers perform for him, until He-Man appears, leading to one of the oddest action scenes ever. For those that prefer their version of He-Man to lead a more serious axe-wielding life, this next scene is one that those fans could do with referring to a great deal more when it comes to denouncing the series. Yes, He-Man and Skeletor fight one another, kind of, on the trapeze. And just when you think the episode can't get any sillier, Skeletor, the Lord of Destruction, scared of a crowd of circus performers, walks into a room filled with fireworks and shoots off into the skies over Eternia, leading to one of the most embarrassing shots of the series. This one. And I've only mentioned Skeletor, I haven't even addressed Crackers the Clown, Myrtle the Myrtlephant, an elephant that looks like it stepped off the island of Dr. Moreau, and storyboard artist Tom Cito's purposeful use of this piece of stock animation. Oh, the greatest show on Eternia. You so silly. I hope you enjoyed this top 10 video. Now remember, these are only my choices. If you have any other recommendations, please feel free to leave comments below, and I'll address them in a later video in which I summarise other people's top 10s. So I very much look forward to your feedback, and if you have yet to do so, subscribe to the channel.
Oh dear.